Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. So it feels yet again that WWE are playing hot potato with the Undisputed Tag Team titles and fans are furious because of course out of nowhere Damian Priest and Finn Balor reclaimed the titles, defeating Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, who have only had the titles for 5 minutes, and it was all because of that snake Jimmy Uso costing his brother Jey the titles. We should rename Jimmy Jealous Jimmy, really, shouldn't we? He claims he did what he did at SummerSlam because he was saving Jey from Roman Reigns. He didn't want him becoming Roman Reigns. Yet Jimmy rejoins the Bloodline, rejoins Roman Reigns, and now does this to Jey. Clearly Jimmy does not want Jey having any success without him. And of course this just adds fuel to the fire with the Jey-Jimmy feud, which is just going to heat up even further down the line. Of course, this gives Cody Rhodes a reason to go after the Bloodline, and I think that's all too convenient after the SmackDown teases and of course the entry leading into this year's Survivor Series War Games. It's certainly starting to get tasty. Now fans of course understandably weren't happy with this creative booking decision, and I get their reasons, I really do. Like, certainly felt like a moment of madness from WWE Creative, but I'm going to try and look at some of the positives in this and also address the obvious negatives. But before we get into the juicy stuff, as always, it'd be very much appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. So let's kick things off with the positives. There are, believe it or not, a few positives in what appears like a crazy booking decision. And of course, the obvious positives are we're going to get Jey versus Jimmy Uso down the line. Jey is obviously going to want revenge on the Bloodline, specifically his brother Jimmy, and it's all too convenient, I think, that this is in the lead up to Survivor Series War Games. Of course, you can question Jimmy randomly showing up on Raw when he's a SmackDown roster member, but we'll come on to that in a moment. But nevertheless, it's certainly intriguing with things heading into Survivor Series War Games. And of course, another positive is you can sort of tease the friction between Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. Sami went out there to help Jey and Cody, but it didn't go down very well. And of course, we know Sami is legitimately a little bit pissed with Jey because of the trade. The fact that Cody traded Jey to Raw for his best friend and Kevin Owens to go the other way to SmackDown. So you can understand his frustration. I love the details with him wearing KO's top on this week's episode of Raw. Maybe, just maybe, we get a Sami Zayn heel turn, or maybe, just maybe, they coincide and maybe they team up again, because it feels more legit having Jey and Sami together than Jey and Cody, which just feels a bit thrown together for the sake of getting them on SmackDown, and we'll come on to that in a moment. But there's a lot of interesting dynamics, a lot of moving parts along the way involving Sami, Jey, Kev and Cody, so that's kind of cool. Now if we're looking at things a little bit outside of the box, there's another positive in all of this involving Judgment Day member, Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest, because as fans, we're distracted. Think about it logically, right? Judgment Day members Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough, even though he's not an official member, you can kind of include him in all of this, are resisting Damian Priest at every opportunity to cash in that briefcase. Something is going on with that briefcase. I believe, and I've said it millions of times on this channel, I believe that Judgment Day members are screwing Damian Priest from within. But the focus always turns to the tag team titles, reclaiming those, getting them back, being the champions. And you've got that cool visual with all the Judgment Day members with the titles. But they don't want Damian Priest to cash in on the World Heavyweight title or even the Undisputed title because it's not something they ever really bring up. It's Damian who wants to do it. And I like that because there's so many moving parts with this, distractions with the Bloodline Judgment Day angle that we're not even talking about. Now, of course, there's another very obvious positive in all of this. The fact that Jimmy Uso is getting back in the good books with Roman Reigns. Surely it's not a bad thing that Jimmy has cost Cody Rhodes the Undisputed Tag Team Championships alongside Jay. And yes, Roman's focus isn't on Jay at the moment, it's on LA Knight for obvious reasons. But Jimmy has cost Cody Rhodes not only the tag team titles, but the opportunity to appear legitimately on SmackDown to defend those belts. So he's kind of, in a way, although he's selfishly gone out for himself and gone after Jay for personal reasons, he's kind of helped Roman Reigns and the Bloodline as well, because Cody and Jay can't show up on SmackDown. They can't get over to SmackDown at the moment, and of course it just gets you more passionate about Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso getting revenge on their enemies, specifically the Bloodline. Now, of course, the damn right obvious negative in all of this is the hot potato effect. This title has now switched hands 4 times, and it seems a bit daft to have Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso as a makeshift tag team just thrown together to then lose the titles a week later. Could they have not had a lengthy run with the titles potentially? And then of course you could have had Jay and Cody legitimately show up on SmackDown at this point, and then of course tease interactions between Roman and Cody. I feel that's the only reason there was the title change in the first place, taking the titles off Judgment Day to begin with Cody and Jay winning the titles, just so they could literally have that interaction between Roman and Cody, that stare down. But if you're playing hot potato with the tag team titles that are supposed to be undisputed tag team titles, it seems a little bit daft to do that, especially with makeshift tag teams. It makes genuine tag teams like Street Profits, Brawling Brutes, Alpha Academy, Viking Raiders amongst others look insufficient just to progress a storyline and involve the tag team titles to do that. I don't think that's fair on the tag team division, and it makes the tag team division look less legitimate in my opinion. Also, think about it logically. Jay and Jimmy held the titles for so long and literally put the capitals in Undisputed of that title, and now it is literally switching hands what appears to be every single week. And also, what doesn't sit well with me as a WWE fan is the not very strict brand split. Why is Jimmy Uso able just to show up on Raw? Surely he'd get heavily fined for that. He has no right to be on Raw. He's a SmackDown superstar. So does that mean we're going to start seeing Jay show up on SmackDown when he's a Raw superstar? I feel like they need to be a little bit stricter with this brand split, and I'll give them a little bit of leeway leading into Survivor Series War Games. You know full well we're going to get those cross-brand interactions. I hope, I pray, I really pray to God that we're not going to get the Team Raw versus Team SmackDown t-shirts on. But negatives aside, it's certainly intriguing moving forward with all these moving parts going on involving the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre you can even throw into the mix. By the way, what was that deal that he struck with Rhea Ripley the other week? But what do you think about all of this? As always, get down in the comment section, share your thoughts and opinions, and as always, it'd be very much appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new, and we'll catch you in the next one.